What's going on, everyone? So yesterday we saw the Boston Celtics end up trading Drew Holiday to the Portland Trail Blazers and ended up getting Fernie Simons as well as 2 seconds, which in my opinion was an absolute fleece for the Boston Celtics. But Boston isn't done. They're not finished. They are trying to unload multiple players, multiple pieces. They basically fielded offers on essentially everybody on the roster. The two guys that they want to unload more than anybody, though, was Drew Holiday, which they successfully have done, as well as Kristaps Porzingis. But they have fielded some offers on Jaylen Brown as well as Derek White. And look, Spurs have been linked to Jaylen Brown. I mean, there were multiple reports from multiple sources that all said that, hey, if they miss out on Kevin Durant, they might go look at a Giannis or a Jaylen Brown. So kind of keep an eye out on that. Derek White is a guy that Spurs never should have let go, right? I mean, in hindsight, it worked out. A Victor Wembanyama and I got Castro, but I'd love to see him back in a Spurs jersey. I think he would be fantastic. He's one of the best plug and play guys, honestly, in all of basketball. But reports have came out that, and this is per Jake L. Fisher, that the San Antonio Spurs have expressed interest in acquiring a Kristaps Porzingis. So let's get into the report and then talk about it, because I don't know how I feel about this. But the San Antonio Spurs have shown interest in Kristaps Porzingis per Jake L. Fisher. The Spurs, sources say, have held some exploratory talks about trading for the 7'2" center. That would certainly be a fascinating outcome for Porzingis if he were to land with the on-the-rise Spurs alongside 7'5" Victor Wembanyama. Now, here's the thing, right? On paper, right, he'd be awesome. Talk about a legit, think of the size and the length you'd have on the inside with Kristaps Porzingis and Victor Wembanyama. It would be unfair at times. Both guys' ability to spread the floor, right? Both guys' ability to protect the rim, the type of offense and just floor spacing. Look, there is a version of that where it is fantastic, right? I've seen a lot of people talk about Lauri Markkanen. I think Kristaps Porzingis is better than Lauri Markkanen, right? But the problem becomes, and this is really the sole problem for me, the guy can't stay healthy. He just cannot stay on the basketball court, and that's the problem. If he could get healthy and get right, absolutely go get the guy. He's still on the right side of 30. He'll be 30 going into next season. August 2nd is his birthday. So he's a guy that is still young enough, but kind of experienced enough to where he'd slot in beautifully alongside De'Aaron Fox. You could slot him at the 5 when Wemby gets a break. You can slot Wemby at the 4 and have them both together, right? Like, there is a version, again, of that it looks fantastic on paper. I cannot trust this guy to stay healthy. Even last year, he averaged 19.5 points, 6.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists on 48.3% from the field. The guy is 240 pounds, so he's got good size, right? Especially in the Western Conference where you got all these just big physical centers. He's a guy that has the length, the size. Again, he is, every team in the league would love to have Kristaps Porzingis if he's healthy, but the guy can't stay healthy, right? And you look at the last few years, right? Literally, the most games he has ever played in a season was 72 games, and it was his rookie year. The second most games he's ever played in a season was 66 games, and that was his second year, right? Since that, 48 games, missed an entire season, 57 games, 43 games, 51 games, 65 games, 57 games, 42 games. The guy's giving you like half the season every year. I can't trust that. And then even in the playoffs, the guy's not healthy. Boston won a championship, and Kristaps Porzingis played in half the games that he was eligible to play in. And then on top of that, they had to bring him off the bench and limit his minutes because they didn't want him to get hurt again. They essentially won a championship without him, right? Like, that's where my dilemma lies, is that yes, he is an incredible player, incredible talent. A guy that legit can protect the rim and spread the floor. And if you can get him at a reasonable price, if you can get him cheap enough, yeah, sure, I think that there is an argument for it. If he's giving you 65 games a year, which is essentially, the threshold, it's essentially the league average, which is why the NBA made that kind of the criteria for accolades and all that stuff. If he was giving you 65 games a year and healthy come playoff time, then sure. But the problem is we don't have a crystal ball. So we don't know if that is going to be the case, right? Even if he played, 60 games, it was really good for them, and we knew for a fact, come playoff time, he's healthy and ready to go, I would do that. Now, he is on an expiring contract. He's making $30.7 million. So he's making just under $31 million on an expiring contract. So it is one of those things that could be, if you can get him for the right price. That's the key. You have to get him for the right price. You have to get him cheap enough. If you can get him for the right price, there is this low risk, high reward type of move where it's like, okay, you could get him, and then if it doesn't work out, just kind of let him go and you're good. If it does work, you're signing him to a new contract and kind of figuring out what you want to do from there, right? Like, obviously, I wouldn't give him another $30+ million a year. But, if you could get him on, maybe 18 million or half of that, 15 to 18 million, because like, dude, you're unreliable health-wise, right? Then sure, I would maybe look and potentially be open to exploring that type of move and that type of trade. But beyond that, right? What does he do? What has he provided? Teams period, but the Boston Celtics. Again, he is a career 19.5 points, 6.8 rebounds, and 2.1 assists type of guy. He's also a career 42 game a year scorer or player, which is not good. Literally, he is, for his career, played half the games that he is eligible to play. That's terrible. But basically a 27-2 guy. You look at what he did this past year, basically around his average, 42 games played. He was 28.8 points per game, shot 48.3% from the field, shot 41.2% on 6 attempts from three-point range. He is a career 36.6% three-point shooter. So his three-point shooting has always been a good three-point shooter as a big man, kind of been that unicorn type of guy. Even last year with Boston, shot 37.5%. The year before that, 38.5% on 5.5 attempts, 5.1 attempts, and 6 attempts. So he actually, you can make an argument, the more attempts he gets, the better shooting he is, just based on the last few seasons. 2-point range, he shot 53.7% on 7.7 attempts, 57.2% EFG. Free throw percentage is 81%. He is a career 83% guy on 4.8 attempts, and he took 4.7 last year, so basically around his career average. Averaged 6.8 rebounds, 2.1 assists, which again is around his average, a steal, 1.5 blocks, and 19.5 points per game. So again, that's a guy that's averaging around 19.5 for his career. So he's roughly at his career average with the Boston Celtics. You add that to a team like the San Antonio Spurs, that would be perfect, right? I mean, and he played just under 30 minutes per game, 28.8 minutes. So, and you'd have Wemby and have all these other things. Again, there is a version of Kristaps Porzingis that makes all the sense in the world. There is a version of Kristaps Porzingis that you look at and go, okay, this has the potential to be something special, right? That size, that like 7'2" and a 7'5" guy with the wingspan and the length and the shot blocking and again, good luck. Wemby's ability to defend out on the perimeter. Kristaps Porzingis can even defend out on the perimeter and just, there is the potential that this is a very good team, but there's also the potential that this is kind of like a bit of a disappointment, and he just can't stay healthy and on the basketball court. It's like, dude, what are we doing here? It's just, I don't know if I trust it. Right? I don't know if it's worth what you may have to pony up for him, but if you can, again, get him at the right price. That's the key for me. If you can get him at a reasonable price, might be hard to pass up. It might be hard to go, you know what? Hey, let's not do this. It's just, I don't know if the risk is worth the reward, because the reward would be winning a championship and him being healthy in the playoffs. I don't know if he will be healthy come playoff time. Again, you look at these last 2 years, he just hasn't been healthy. So, I don't know. And it's just Boston was significantly better with Kristaps Porzingis than without. Right? Which I believe the Spurs would be significantly better with Kristaps Porzingis than without. But how often are you going to be with Kristaps Porzingis if you trade for him? That's literally my only issue with this, is that the concerns of him and his on-court play, right? Because the best ability is availability. But Anyway, as always, this is a discussion. I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? How do you feel? Do you like the idea of Kristaps Porzingis? Do you think absolutely not? Do you think it depends on the price? Either way, love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So if you enjoy these types of videos, truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.